Toy Story 4 is directed by Josh Cooley and is the newest film from Pixar and the sequel to the other Toy Story films. And this stars a huge cast. You got Tom Hanks, Tim Allen, Joan Cusack, and among others.
Don Rickles, rest in peace.
Yeah, may rest in peace. And Keanu Reeves, and among others. And this is now the fourth film in the Toy Story franchise, which started back all the way up until 1995.
Yep.
And in this story, it actually picks up about not too long, about maybe about the same time as the last movie ended with the third one, where you have pretty much the toys, Woody, Buzz, and all them, who are by their new owner, Bonnie, who you remember in the third film. They end up noticing that she's going to school for elementary school and soon, and she realizes that she can't take her toys there, so she ends up actually creating an actual toy named Forky.
Where she can take
to school. And she makes them in right there in class. And she ends up, with Woody's help, he tries to make amends with Forky and try to bring him, together with all the friends and everything and all the other toys. And it basically ends up becoming a road trip where Bonnie and her parents end up going on a road trip and going camping. And they end up going to this carnival area, and basically Forky feels like he doesn't fit in. He wants to basically, run away and all that. And Woody tries to help him out, and then they basically they get themselves lost, and becomes pretty much a way of getting back home. And basically, it deals with about being lost.
Yeah, being lost, which we've gotten this plot in every one of the films, but they seem to bring a unique twist to each and every one of them. So basically, he finds they go on this journey trying to get back to Bonnie, getting Forky back, because Forky's now her new pride and joy. Mm-hmm. And it will help her cope going to school. Yeah. So, Woody, he cares about her and everybody. He goes and his mission is to get him back to her.
Yeah. Now, here's some backstory. Now, growing up, Toy Story to me is not only the very first Pixar film that I've seen, but it's also my absolute favorite franchise that Pixar has done.
Yeah, it's my favorite franchise as well.
And growing up, this film not only worked, going back to the first three movies, not only did they work on such a great, new take with what Pixar does with their later films, but they also, I related so much with, with the main character.
Now with that, me being way more older than you are in '95 than you were, Toy Story was also groundbreaking when it came out.
It was basically the computer animated film.
It was basically the Avatar of '95, because '95, like when Avatar came out in its year, Toy Story came out in '95, and it was groundbreaking. It changed how movies were made,
especially being the very first big budget CGI film released in theaters. Yeah, and it put Pixar on the map.
And I'll tell you right now, going back to the first one, man, I loved the fucking first one.
I did too.
And I loved every one of them.
This is a franchise.
Yeah, I thought the third one ended it so perfectly, and it was very emotional seeing Andy grow up. We watched it in every film get older and older and older. And when the third one, man, boy, it was sad, but a goodbye ending.
It was. And also, in fact, 20 years ago, we actually had the second film come out, and that was the first one I saw in theaters. So the second one. Yeah. I've seen every single one of them.
I've seen every one of them in theaters. Oh, I saw the first one. Yeah. So, these films just got better and better as they go. I think this is one of those rare occurrences, where it's 1, 2, 3, perfect. Yeah. You gave it a goodbye.
And then with this one coming out, it really got...
I will say, when this one was coming out, I do want to bring up, I was a little worried. Mm-hmm. Why? Because you have a perfect trilogy, and if you guys know in history of films, when they want to keep pushing more in the envelope because of money and stuff, I was like, oh man, this is going to fucking fuck up.
Yeah.
I would hate to I was worried about saying we're going to have our very first bad Toy Story when you're on this good track record. So I was worried about that. When the trailers came out, I will say that while, of course I'm looking forward to Toy Story because it's my favorite animation film Pixar has ever done, but and it's my favorite trilogy, I was like, it seems like it's been the same story.
Because from the trailers, it seemed like they were kind of rehashing too, remember in Toy Story 2, you had Woody pretty much having to go after another toy, and he ends up, finding some other solace somewhere. and everything, how finding new characters and stuff.
Yeah.
It pretty much kind of got you on the verge with that. And
Yeah.
while in the film it does that, it's still
Yeah.
from the trailers alone. It seemed like they were kind of rehashing it.
Yeah,
just on the trailers.
that was based off of trailers. But upon seeing this film, I will say that, wow, you guys surprised me. What they can keep doing with these movies and taking that concept and giving it its own twist, a different twist, and it still works even better than the previous ones, blows me the fuck away what they could do with this. I could say this is on a rare occurrence. This is the probably first best quadrilogy I've ever seen.
Yeah.
You don't get quadrilogies. You can get perfect trilogies, but quadrilogies,
it's very rare.
Holy shit.
I mean, the only other franchise I can think of that's on a good track record, like back to back,
Yeah.
in my opinion, was Force Awakens.
With
I mean,
Star
that
Wars.
I'm not saying that. Yeah, I mean, there's more than 4 movies, but I'm just saying at that time it was still on that same level.
If you ignore the prequels.
Yeah, if you ignore the prequels. But anyway, yeah, I was the same way, man. Like, upon seeing this film, I was so, like, I wanted to cry after I left this. I was just so, I felt like being a
I was
kid
wondering
again.
what they were going to do to top that emotional ending. Now, I'm not going to say it for spoiler reasons, but wow, they were able to give us something even more emotional. Still 3 I still thought was more stronger, but this one really grabbed me.
It did.
Really, I was like, holy shit.
And I can honestly say I respect that they had a reason to do this. They actually had a good reason in this story.
And the reason why I think also was the reason why that was a good idea to do the way it did. Unfortunately, we've lost quite a few people, voiceovers over the years.
Don Rickles and if you remember
Arlie Emery,
him and back in when the third one was coming out, we also lost Jim Varney, who played Slinky Dog.
Yeah.
But they got the guy who played off of the Water Boy to voice him, and he sounds just like him. So it's like you couldn't really tell me it's the same voice actor.
That's what I'm saying. It's just like, these films you don't realize how old they are.
Yeah.
They look still like they were made like yesterday.
Yeah,
that's why these Toy Story films hold up.
And to get my pros out of the way, once again, like the cast was all greatness. It's always wonderful to see Tom Hanks and Tim Allen doing their thing as Woody and Buzz and all that. But I also got to appreciate what the new characters are bringing, like Forky. At first, when the trailers, I was kind of worried that they were going to play him as that typical comic relief and stuff. But no, he actually had me laughing. He was genuinely a great character.
Yeah, he was a good character. I also we got Michael Keaton playing the Barbie guy. We got another funny doll in this one played by Keanu Reeves.
The Kaboom.
Kaboom. He's basically Evil Knievel.
Yeah, basically. And he was great, and I'm glad that Keanu Reeves is, making himself a big name nowadays, back like he used to be. And it's also, one of the other things I appreciate the most with the story was that it turns into so many different things that not only do they give closure to one of the other films, but they also do more to actually expand upon it that I didn't think they were going to do.
Yeah.
And
I like how this one they were able to push the territory and go into more open world, more out in the camping world, and this great base town, kind of like a Branson type town.
Very much, yeah. And the other thing I got to admit too is seeing how the animation has evolved over the last decades. It's amazing how you went from the first film, which still holds up, to look at this, and the animation just it gets better and better. I love the detailed look they went with having the characters go.
Hell, I even like some of the detail it did, like where they go into this antique store and you even see like cobwebs. You see if you guys know that everybody's got this story where you do behind your thing, you have that little power cord that's all got dust over the years. They even showed that in this, and it looked very realistic. Yeah,
and well, the other thing was with the animation is I like that the human characters actually they've evolved since the first film too. They really put a lot of detail into them.
Yeah, and another thing I appreciate, which I really appreciate with this film was, I liked how they really went back on Andy a lot again.
They did. They also do respect to the other films, and also even bring up certain points about how Woody was always Andy's favorite toy and stuff like that. But he's also,
not to mention, he gave us a closure and build up to where was Bo Peep.
Yeah, that was also great because in the third film, you noticed she was gone. It was good that they brought her back, and I like that they did something with her character because she's evolved into basically being more of an outcast. Basically, she's basically being a more kind of a survivalist.
You know, in the other films, they play that outcast is always a bad thing, but in this one, they play as it could be a better thing.
Yeah,
where you can explore the world, and I actually like.
I love that. Yeah. And man, and also it's great to see that Randy Newman came back for doing the music again because he's been in I believe he's been in every single one of the films, and he's always brought a lot of great songs to it, especially "You Got a Friend in Me" and all that. And
they also did a lot of the voice where we remember "Reach for the Sky" and all that stuff. They go back big time in the first movie.
The 3D was pretty good too. This is the second Toy Story film I've seen in 3D since the third one, and man, Pixar they really
PIXAR is always good to go see in 3D, no matter what film you go see.
Yeah, and so there's that, and then basically the
humor
I thought was pretty funny too. Was great,
hilarious.
Especially surprisingly, I mean I knew they were in the film, but when it shows Key and Peele in their playing the guys there at the carnival and stuff, I thought they had some funny moments.
Yeah, they were great. I would like to see what they do with them again. You know, they're new characters now building this story. Hopefully, they're not forgotten if they continue to do a 5 and 6, which I heard they actually want to do that.
Yeah, I'm actually curious.
So, I mean, I'm still skeptical because you don't want to get too carried away because then you start having your first bad movie, and I hope they don't do that.
They kind of,
the Cars did that.
Yeah, and they had their own trilogy,
and they also had bad movies too.
And they had their own spin-offs.
So, I got into the story. I love the build-up and trying to get into her. It's taken a familiar plot, but it gives its own twists.
It does.
And it works every time.
And
very rarely can you actually use the same plot in every film and do it.
Exactly. And the other thing I actually got to admit, too, is that they set up, this is not a spoiler, but they set up who you think is supposed to be one of the villains of the film, and believe it or not, I actually kind of felt bad for this person. I actually thought it was very heartwarming and pretty emotional. Yeah,
this movie had me in teary-eyed. It had me in tears. I'll tell you right now, the fucking end is another end of an era. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it's another end of the era. So that was a pretty sad ending, but I don't want to go into any more details without spoiling. I will say that I was blown away with this film.
I was too.
Toy Story just can't do no wrong, and I'm glad they can. So with that being said, I'm giving this film a phenomenal grade in Film Phreeks meter. It will be in my top 10.
It will be in mine as well. I'm giving this also a phenomenal grade on the Film Phreeks meter as well. And thank you so much, Pixar. You are still growing strong, and I will always have these movies in my heart. So for those of you who have also seen Toy Story 4, let us know in the comments below what you thought about it, and the other Toy Story films as well. And if you like what you see here, you can feel free to like and subscribe to our channels, and check out some other views here and our website at filmphreeks.com. And we'll be seeing you in our next review. We'll see you later.